ॐ वाङ् मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्मयेधि वेदस्य आणीस्थः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासि अनेनाधीतेनाहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्भक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु भक्तारमवतु भक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ Om. May my speech be accorded with the mind. May my mind be accorded with the speech. O self-effulgent one Brahman, reveal thyself to me. May you both, speech and mind, be the carriers of the highest truth to me. May not all that I have heard depart from me. May I be able to join day and night through this study. I shall utter what is verbally true. I shall utter what is mentally true. May that Brahman protect me. May that Brahman protect the teacher. May that protect me. May that protect the teacher. Om. Peace, peace. Peace be unto you all. Good morning. This morning I am going to speak one very common and popular subject, but at the same time it is very important in our spiritual life. This particular subject matter is discussed, over-discussed, it is used, abused, misused. So many ways this particular topic has been understood by different persons in different ways. The topic is concentration and meditation. As day by day, concentration and meditation, these two ideas gain the ground so much that in different ways, different spiritual leaders, they advise the process of meditation, the process of concentration in different ways. And they develop different techniques which are really very helpful to the human being. Before going in depth to the subject matter, I would like to remind you two important things. Number one, all concentrations are not meditation. That's why I have kept the title of my talk is concentration and meditation. So these are, from the title, it is very clear that these are two different concepts. Meditation is concentration, but it is a special type of higher concentration. This is first point. The second point is that the concentration or meditation in present day context, it can be divided into two parts. One is secular concentration or meditation, and other is spiritual concentration or meditation. In the name of yoga, nowadays there are physical exercises and also mental exercises. So all these are very helpful for our health, to reduce our stress, to have our deep sleep in night. All these things are very helpful for our health. So I would like to categorize all those mental practices and physical practices in the name of yoga to secular concentration or meditation. Then other part is there, which is spiritual. It has a definite goal, and definitely it has a different kinds of techniques and ideology. This morning I am going to deliver you the spiritual, the ideas and ideology and techniques, obviously, of spiritual meditation. And obviously I would like to point out the difference between concentration and meditation. Then you can understand that what is a huge difference we have and how much misconception we have been nurturing for number of days. From our childhood, we try to practice concentration on the external objects as the part of our natural process of perception. So everything is the perception, If we perceive by open eyes and in closed eyes also. So everything is a perception. So according to the Sankhya and Yoga and Advaita Vedanta, the perception, what is the perception? What is the concept of perception? It is a very important subject in philosophy. Because otherwise, if we do not perceive something, we do not have any conception. If we do not have any conception, we cannot meditate. You cannot meditate on the subject or on some ideas or some object on which you don't have any idea. God, Brahman, we have not seen, but we try to meditate. How and why? Here comes the importance of mythology. So we have developed some kind of ideas about God. From our childhood, we have seen the picture, we have seen some statues, we have learned or heard some stories. So from there, we have developed some kind of ideas about God. And in our meditation, we meditate on that object. That will become our object and we meditate. But everything, so many things we are perceiving outwardly, and perceiving objects inwardly, also a kind of perception. So, how this perception takes place? This is very important subject in philosophy, Western and Eastern both. According to Yoga, Sankhya and Vedanta, as it were, to explain. It is not reality. It is as it were for your understanding I am explaining, and scripture has explained in this way. Our mind through our senses is going out, and it takes the form of certain object, and we are getting the knowledge of that object. As for example, here is a chair. How can I perceive that chair? As it were, my mind is going out through my senses, eyes, and mind is taking the form of that chair, and I am getting the knowledge of that chair. I am perceiving the chair. That chair is in this form, and obviously the form, name and form is identified. If something has a name, it must has form. You cannot find anything there which has name except one thing, and that is Allah. So every name has some kind of form. So our perceiving process is this, and according to Ramanuja and Madhya, it is the self that issues forth directly perceiving the object. In philosophical way, they differ from each other, but the point is that everything what we perceive exists in the external world, outside world. Either concentration on the external object is a natural process. So we can see that. And Upanishad says that very specifically. Katha Upanishad, in a very beautiful verse, very popular verse, it says, Paranchi khani vatrinath sayambhu tasmat parang pashyanti nantaratman. So it says everything, our organs, our senses, God set all our senses to perceive, to take the vibration, to take the knowledge from the external world. You cannot see your within. Can you see your mind? Difficult. We have to think. We have to imagine. We cannot perceive our mind. In the sense we perceive the external world. So, everything we are seeing outward, that we are familiar to, but meditation is the completely reversal process. We have to, abrita chakshu, same verse, it is said, abrita chakshu. So you have to turn whole our energy, whole our senses within. Completely reversal process. So, it is, Sri Ramakrishna gave a very beautiful example on this. He says, in a dark night, if a sergeant, he is watching everything with his torchlight. Then somebody was coming, he said, who is there? And the sergeant focused the torch on the face of that passers-by. Oh, okay. But everybody can see, the sergeant can see everybody's face by his torchlight. But nobody can see sergeant's face because it is dark night. Unless the sergeant turns his torchlight towards his own face. So Sri Ramakrishna is saying that if we want to see sergeant's face, we have to pray. Hey, gentlemen, can you please turn the focus of the torch on your own face so that I can see your face? Otherwise, he will not do that. So exactly, the meditation is turning the searchlight towards our own source of consciousness. That is the meditation. In concentration, we focus outwardly. So this is the first difference between concentration and meditation. Completely reversal process. I shall go. This is the first difference, ordinary concentration and meditation. Meditation is the result of focusing of consciousness on its true source or center. Tantra, Tantra says different centers, chakra. In different centers are there. Tantra says consciousness. But Upanishad points out only one center, and that is the source of your consciousness. In other words, it is called spiritual heart, it is called some other things. So something we have to discover within, and that is a kind of anchor, that is a kind of holding. By prayer, by practice, it is developed. Otherwise, spiritual life, or especially the meditation, is very difficult. Unless in meditation we can find some holding, some kind of feeling, some kind of sensation, some kind of center in our within. If you close your eyes, if you try to concentrate, you can find some holding inside. Whether that is your chosen deity, whether that is your spiritual heart, that is whether you're the center of your spirituality, the spiritual center, what name you may call it. But this is the holding you have to develop. Otherwise, you cannot concentrate. This is the difference. Now, how can we turn our mind within? There are two ways, Those who are the sheep, they take care of the sheep, So we drag the sheep to the pan, So just drag the sheep into the pan. It is not that kind of turn the light within. So we have to develop within. It is a kind of drawing the whole consciousness within. From within, it is a drawing thing. It is not forcing to take all the ships into the pan. So it is a kind of drawing from within. So if we develop some kind of holding within or spiritual heart, so it will a kind of bringing or attracting our whole focus of consciousness within. In technical term, in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, because Patanjali become very popular nowadays, not only for yoga, but also for meditation also. The meditation technique generally we use nowadays is the Patanjali's technique of meditation. There is Vedanta technique of meditation. There are Bhakti meditation. There are different types of meditation. There is a Buddhist type of meditation. So, but generally popular is this Buddhist, definitely Buddhist type of meditation and Patanjali's types of meditation. So Patanjali, particularly this withdrawing mind, so holding, seeing the face of the sergeant within, so seeing the source of our consciousness or Atman, that this process, according to Patanjali, is called dharana. Dharana is focusing our concentration on a particular point, and that is called dharana. This is the first difference between concentration and meditation. Concentration is perceiving things from outside. Secondly, in most forms, the ordinary concentration, the sense organs are active because we are perceiving outside, So our sense organs are active. But during meditation, which needs higher degree of concentration, the mind alone active. As for example, the concentration is outside. So, you are thinking something, you are closing your eyes and you are remembering. That is the process of concentration. As for example, or you are concentrating on a particular picture, or you are concentrating on a particular colored light, or a dot, or whatever may be. You are concentrating on something. So that means your other sense organs are active. You are seeing, or somebody meditate while listening to some music, bhajan. So you are meditating, but your other senses are active. Different senses are active. But in meditation, all senses are inactive except one, and that is mind. So only mind is active. That is why the meditation, spiritual meditation, is called ekendriya. Eka means one, indriya means senses. So meditation is the practice of ekendriya, the state in which one indriya or sense organ, namely the mind, which the yogis regarded as the sixth sense organ, alone is active. So according to Patanjali, before one attempts dhyana or meditation, dhyana is the definitely, dhyana is the Sanskrit term of meditation, one should gain proficiency in this dharana or withdrawing the mind. That is one important thing. And before this dharana, this withdrawing the mind, so dharana is the dharana is the focusing of mind on one point, and this withdrawing is called pratyahara. Prati-ahara. Ahara means Sanskrit word, ahara means eating. But it is not eating food. Ahara means aharana, collecting things. What we are listening, that is also ahara. So what we are taking from outside through senses, everything is ahara. So prati-ahara, simple taking things is ahara. Pratihara means opposite things. We shall repulsing all kind of ahara. We are repulsing withdrawing anything from outside. So we shall cut our connection from outside. That is called pratyahara, prati-ahara. So as we are turning our mind within, so we have to detach everything from the outside. Then only we can turn in. And only one senses will be active, and that is mind. All other senses will be calm, quiet, and inactive. That is meditation. But in concentration, our different senses will be active. That is meditation. This is the second difference. The third difference is between ordinary concentration and meditation is what we call thought is only the wave like movement of vritti. It is called vritti. If you throw a stone on a calm and quiet water pool, there will be a small wave. It breaks into the small waves. Our mind is just like that. The external things is just like a stone, and our mind is just like a calm and quiet water pool. So if through the outside, the stimulus, better to call it stimulus. So if stimulus comes in our mind and hits in our mind, there will be ripples, So these ripples in technical term, in Sanskrit term, in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, they called vritti. So vrittis are the modification of mind. So these vrittis, that is our thought. So we disturb when thousands and thousands of vrittis coming from different sources. If you throw 100 stones at a time in a water pool, what will happen? It will create some waves. It will, mess there. So just like that, if so many things are coming in our mind and is hitting, our mind will be turmoiled. So, how these things happens? Things happens in two ways. Number one, from outside event, outside object, outside things. If I say you something very aggressively, that is the stimulus that will create some waves in your mind, and you will act in that way. If I say, please use some kind of restroom, because there is no water today. So you will act accordingly, and then that means it is a ripples in your mind, and you will act in that way. So from outside stimulus. Secondly, the samaskaras. If you close your room and sit for meditation, samaskar will not allow you to do so. You can remember so many things, so many past things, You can remember. So samaskaras. So vritti, these external things and samaskaras, they create vritti. And if we listen to some music while concentrating on something, so all these kind of external things are only creating thousands of vrittis. The meditation is that the mind is, as it were, fixed on one point, and there will be only one vritti, reducing all vrittis into one. So in concentration, as you are seeing so many things, as you are connected with the external world, pratyahar you have not done. Withdrawing mind, you did not do. So what will happen? So the same thing, it is difficult to concentrate. So meditation means reducing all types of vrittis into one. In Sanskrit word, Patanjali says, Pratyaya eko tanota. Eko tana means one. Tanata means vibration. Only one tana will be there. Eko tanota. Pratyaya eko tanota. Pratyaya is content of vritti. If you throw a stone, it will create ripples. What is the size of the stone? If stone is bigger, your ripple is, it will kind of wave. The stone is smaller, the wave is a ripple. So this content of vritti is called pratyaya. So pratyaya ekotanata, only one vritti. That is concentration. That is meditation. So unless at least the major desire or impulse are suppressed or eliminated, it is very difficult. Outside stimulus, you can reduce it. You can eliminate it. But the samaskaras, it is very difficult. You have to fight. Slowly, we have to do it. Patience, practice. This is important. This is the third one. The fourth one is that ordinary concentration is the result of attachment of various external objects, whereas meditation is the result of the detachment. But it is not simple detachment. You have attachment also. You have to detach from the outside world, and you will be attached with the internal world, the source of your consciousness. So it happens only there is intense aspiration and faith. We have to practice it again and again. Time, practice, patience, and intense aspiration and Shraddha. That is why Shraddha is very important. If you consider Katha Upanishad is an instruction of spiritual practice, then in the beginning it is said Shraddha. In the second verse itself it is said, Shraddha entered into Nachiketa's mind. So Abhivesha means entered. So this is very important. Then the fifth is that human mind has two powers. One is experience and one is creative power. We can experience, we can see something and we can experience. And the second is creative power. We can do something. We have some creative power. So with the creative power, we can do many things. And obviously, if we do many things, you can understand there will be more vrittis, there will be more turmoil. It is just opposite to the meditation. So the meditation is an attempt to make the mind stop creating by seeking the source of experience. So this is the fifth difference in concentration. As in concentration we are connected with the outside world, we create lot of experiences, lot of vrittis. This is the fifth. Sixth is little bit philosophical. Concentration is keeping ourselves or going along with the time. Meditation is going to the timeless. How is it? Let me explain. There are two times. One is external time, clock. And you know clock is set with the sun, movement of sun and everything. So that is one time of time, that external movement. Another time clock is there, which is internal. So it is inside, And the kids, small kids, they cannot distinguish these two times. But as we grow up, then these two times become separated. As for example, let me give some example. The outside time is completely stopped when we dream or when we sleep. What happens? When you will get the whole night, it is not hours together in one shot passes, isn't it? So, the external clock is completely disconnected with the internal clock. And you can experience it in jet lag. Your body always tries to keep you in the habitual timing, but you have gone a different time zone, outside time zone. Inside is same. You can find this difference in the outside. So the point is, important point is here is that when we meditate, when we sleep, we go to the complete timeless situation. At one point you see, oh, how time passes, I don't know. So this time, in this stage, when you are very busy, when you are engrossed with some work, you cannot understand how time, external time flies. Exactly in the same way. So, meditation. In concentration, you are going along with external time. But in meditation, you are going to the timeless. There is no external time. This is important. However, most important difference between ordinary concentration and meditation is that the concentration is an unconscious practice. What is unconscious practice? You are thinking something. Unconscious means you are thinking some things. Means it is automatism. You are not forcing anything. You try to meditate something, okay? And your mind is flowing from one point to other point. And you are traveling with your mind. You are very comfortable. You are enjoying. But your mind is always meditating or concentrating on the divine. Your mind is focused on the divine, okay? That is also prescribed in spiritual scriptures. It is called Lila Dhyana. Okay? You are meditating on Sri Krishna, then from there your mind is going from Mahabharata, the battle of Kurukshetra. From there it has gone to Vrindavan with gopis and so many things. And you have traveled Vrindavan once, then suddenly you remember how is the temple and your journey there, some problem you had to face, what was there. So everything you are thinking and your mind is going along with that. So it is unconscious travel. It is an unconscious concentration. But meditation is a conscious effort. You are directing your mind towards some point. You are applying your force. It is a conscious activity. It is not simple, easy. So you are directing your mind to some point. Only one vritti. You have to eliminate all other vrittis. And this is the function of will. You have to exercise your will. Meditation is thus a fully self-directed process. It is a struggle against mental automatism. It is an attempt to prevent mental waves from submerging the rock of self-awareness. This point is very important because this point, only in this point, meditation differs from boredom, introversion, daydreaming, etc. It is not simply close your eyes and you are thinking divine and your mind is floating, flying anywhere and everywhere else and you are enjoying. the divine things. That is not meditation. Meditation is forcing your mind to a certain point. This is number 6. The 7 is that ordinary concentration. The mind is swayed by the object. In meditation, you are directing the mind. And in concentration, the external object is taking your mind. Take the example. You are reading a very, very interesting book. Or you are watching a very interesting serial on a TV. Or you are discussing a very important, the Super Bowl. What is going to happen in the Super Bowl? Or why the 49ers lost their game. You are analyzing this. What happens in this situation? In this situation, time flies. You are disconnected with the external time, so you are coming to the timeless. You forget your eating, you forget everything. You are completely engrossed with that. But one point is here. It is concentration, not meditation. Why? Because here, the external object is controlling your mind. In meditation, you are controlling your mind. You are saying, go there. Your mind will go there. But in this case, the book or the discussion, the point of discussion, or some other things, TV, is controlling your mind. The external object is controlling your mind. This is the 7th difference between concentration and meditation. Yet another difference, the 8th, is that meditation is not just looking at an object, but an attempt to enter into the living relation with it. This is very, very important. What we do generally, we close our eyes. As for example, you are meditating on some deity. Take Lord Shiva. What we do, we have not seen living Shiva anywhere else. So what we generally do, we generally see the picture of Lord Shiva and remember the picture of Lord Shiva. So what we do generally, looking at an object, and then we are remembering Lord Shiva. Definitely, we have some idea. I have already mentioned that unless you have some idea about that, you cannot meditate. So, you are meditating on Lord Shiva, and how could you get the idea of Lord Shiva? From the picture. So, picture is equally important as the reality. And it was proved by Swami Vivekananda in Khetri. So, the Khetri Maharaja was not, convinced by accepting the worship of idol, image worship. Then he opened the picture and said, spit on it. So that thing happened. You know that. So picture is equally important because Sri Ramakrishna says, by seeing picture you can remember the reality. But you have to go from the picture to reality. That is important point. Picture is only the stepping stone. It is equally important as the reality, but you have to go to reality beyond the picture. So it is not just looking and remembering. Remembering is the concentration, but meditation is going beyond that and become identified with the reality. This is meditation, and we cannot meditate, unless two things. What we are meditating? I am meditating on something. So if these two things are not equivalent, meditation is difficult. We can meditate on the same thing, equivalent thing. That is why it is preferable to start meditation with the anthropomorphic image, because it is easier to think just the form like us, That's why Swamiji in Jnana Yoga, Swamiji said, I referred earlier in my talk here, that if a cow will meditate, what will be the god of that cow? It is just cow-like. If a cat meditates, how will be the god of cat? It is just like cat-like. Because our thought process is very similar to us. It is equivalent, it is almost same. So human God is humanly, only they have immense power, they have immense beauty, they have immense glory, all these are there. But they are humanly. Sri Krishna is God. How do you worship Krishna? In a human way. Arjuna said, I don't want to see your divine form. I want to see your human form as my friend. So, we do that. So, this is not simple remembering. Meditation is not simple remembering. It is entering into the reality, going beyond the object of remembrance and enter identified with the reality, to establish a relation with the reality. So Mahapurush Maharaj, one of the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, said that what is religion? Religion is the establishment of relation with God. You have to establish some relation with God. And in Hindu scriptures, there are different types of relations. 6 types of relations, 9 types of relations. So loving relationship can be established only when there is a certain degree of similarities, what I have already mentioned. To discover this relationship, the aspirant must first discover the true nature of their own self. Unless you are pure, you cannot meditate on pure God. Unless you are calm and quiet, you cannot meditate on calm and quiet things. And the extra support, name and form, So you are thinking the form, so name will go along with that. So take the support. That is why japam and meditation, in spiritual meditation, they do japam and meditation together. So name and form. So form you are meditating upon and name you are taking mentally. So that is why these two go along with that. And in Bible also, it is said, be still and know that I am God. So unless you are calm and quiet, eliminating all vrittis, you cannot go beyond the object of remembrance and become identified with the reality. So, lastly, it should be remembered that ordinary concentration and meditation, they take us in two different directions. In ordinary concentration, you can release your stress, you can sleep better in night, your health will develop or will be better. But spiritual meditation, it will lead you to the liberation, to the realization of God. This ultimate goal is completely different in two types of meditation. Do you have any question? Yes?
I think the cardinal difference is purification of mind. Pure mind is essential for meditation.
Definitely.
Or an effort to purify the mind is an integral part of meditation. And that is not necessary in concentration. The scientists who are genius, they have concentrated, but they have not done the meditation, or they have not come to samadhi any time. So this is the crux, purification of mind.
Okay. So, yes, you are right. Because, it is very simple. If the water in the pool, can you see somebody is there outside? If in a pool, water is very dirty, then you cannot see the bottom of the water. If you throw stones there, then you cannot find, there is a turmoil of water, so you cannot see the water very clearly. This is the purification of mind. If you allow the water to settle down, you can find the impurities in the water will just, silted down at the bottom, then water will be clear. Yes, definitely that is an important point. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkham apnuvat, sarvastarotu durgani, sarvo bhadrani pashyatu, sarva sadbuddhim apnotu, sarva sarvatra nandatu, durjana sajjano bhuyat, sajjana shantim apnuvat, shantamucchete bandhebhyo, muktaschanyan vimochayet. May all be happy, may all enjoy good health, may all see happy events, may all be freed from miseries, may all be freed from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere, may the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bondages, may the freed make others free. May the Supreme Spirit, the presiding deity of all sacred activities, be satisfied, for He being pleased, the whole universe feels satisfied. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto you all.